Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity. Welcome to our Carnivore Q&A Thursday Night Live. We are here to have some fun, answer your questions, and do some giveaways as well. And before we jump into things, I want to just say real quick, we are going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in blue. So start posting your questions and your carnivore testimony right now with hashtag ribeye. Hashtag ribeye. We're going to do a random drawing for a shirt, and we'll do a random drawing for either a question or a comment testimony. And make sure that you are also following Adam, Lynn, and Ashley. There is a link in the description below for each of them. Adam, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic, Kerry. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Lynn, how are you? Ashley, how are you?
Great. Doing great.
Excellent. Ready to answer some questions?
Yeah.
Before we jump into the questions, Ashley, what do we got coming up?
What do we got coming up? Did you know in exactly 1 week we will be, well, most of us will already be in transit or already there in Tampa, ready for Hack Your Health. Super excited for that. It's a big, probably one of the biggest events of the year. You started talking about it earlier today. It was crazy that a year ago we were doing Hack Your Health, and think how much has happened in this last year. I mean, absolutely insane. So I know there's a lot of people who are going to be there. We're excited for you to join us, and hopefully you can come out, visit us at our booth. We are going to have a booth there. We're going to have some new merchandise, including Adam's new design on his shirts available, and the VIP dinner that will be on Saturday night, I believe it's Saturday night. And he's getting close to being sold out. I think, I don't know if there's any tickets left for that. So if you are planning on doing it, please check the website, make sure you get those tickets, because it will be sold out if it's not already, maybe already. Either way, we want you to come by and see us. And then just the plan for upcoming meetups. We are starting to get our 2026 lineup going, and we're going to start it out in San Diego on January 17th. Miss Courtney Luna, Dr. Kiltz, Stephen Lash is going to be there. It's going to be exciting. That's going to be in San Diego, California, January 17th. Those tickets are now available on our healinghumanity.movie/events page.
Good stuff. And I got to shout out real quick, Meatstock 2026, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, May 2nd, May 3rd. You can use code Healing Humanity to get a discount on your ticket. That one, too, is probably going to sell out. So if you're thinking about going, it's going to be awesome. It's everybody, literally everybody's going to be there. So join us at Meatstock 2026, meatstockconvention.com. All right. Let's see here. Should we jump into some questions? Did I miss anything?
I don't think you missed anything.
All right. Let's see if we got any questions so far. We got Debbie from Waukesha, my neighbor. How's it going?
Oh, there you go.
Cranky Carnivore Cutlers here.
There's a question there I just saw in the chat. Any meetups coming to Canada?
Ooh.
So we did one last year, and it was a very good event. I didn't get to go to that one, unfortunately. I know Kerry and his family did, and there was a great turnout. That was outside of, Kerry, correct me, was it Toronto?
Yeah, I think so.
In Hamilton, I believe.
Hamilton,
near Niagara Falls, in that area.
Exactly.
Area.
Yeah.
Great turnout for that meetup. It was excellent, and it was great to see the Canadians be involved. So yeah, we may have to plan something else, hopefully in Canada here soon.
And Canada's a big country, so we need to figure out like where in Canada.
Yeah, and if y'all recommend it, you're responsible for also grabbing all of your friends and neighbors and everybody else to bring them along. So lots of people. We did
near Niagara and Hamilton.
And Hampton, that's where it was. And Gables, that's where it was. So last time. So I think there was potential of another meetup happening there in the future. Don't know, but we will definitely keep you posted. You can always find out on the healinghumanity.movie/events page. Whenever we have anything confirmed, we will have it posted there.
Good stuff. All right, we got some questions now. Make sure to post your question. We always feel bad. Last week we ran out of time. We usually get a bunch of the questions near the end, but you can post a question or your testimony with hashtag ribeye. Here's a question from Carnivore Lifestyle Anthony. Hi, Kerry. I love your ground beef, bacon, and egg bowls, the Power Bowl. But how can I cook my ground beef without it drying up? I use 80-20 ground chuck. Ashley's got his hand up. What do you think, Ashley?
Well, that was probably directed at you. So you.
No, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I was just say cook it a little bit less.
I was gonna say butter.
Yeah,
always add butter. That's actually one. I love the Power Bowl, and that's one of the things that just to me takes it next level. I put cold butter over the top of it because I kind of like it as it's melting into it, and then you get a little bit of the cold butter that's not fully melted as you're eating the Power Bowl. That game changer right there.
Yeah, I do the same, and I prefer the cold butter as well. But I will add a little bit of butter in at the end of the ground beef. We should do the ground beef in a separate pan. But yeah, I just maybe cook it a little bit less so you don't dry it out. Add a little bit of butter. Be good to go. Getting me hungry for a Power Bowl. It's been a while.
So that kind of reminds me when we were at Hack Your Health last year, I cooked a Power Bowl for you and Emma, but it was funny because I don't ever cook my ground beef that way. But you guys said you like it like really crispy. And I cook that way past where I would ever cook ground beef just because you guys said you like it crispy. And I was like, I don't even know if this is going to be any good. Anyway, it was funny. Y'all at least pretended to like it, but there was probably no way it was actually that good.
Yeah, I don't remember not liking it, but yeah, the girls are weird that way. Jen too. She likes like my family. This isn't me. I'd prefer just rare, but they like the smash burger. And so when you're doing ground beef and you turn that into a smash burger, there's not a good way to do it without just way overdoing it.
Yeah.
Get the little crispy edges though. All right, we got Nightfall Homestead. Hashtag ribeye. Very new to carnivore, but been following Kerry and family for many years. I feel so much better just even less than 2 weeks in. I appreciate you, man, family. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations on getting started. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly you can feel better.
Yeah, 2 weeks in, feeling it already. Yeah, I don't know of any other lifestyle change or intervention where you're starting to feel that good just a couple weeks in. It's pretty incredible. It only gets better, Nightfall Homestead. It only gets better.
Yeah. Yep.
We got a question from Beth L. How about acid reflux and carnivore? Seems mine has picked up lately. I don't know. What do you think, Lynn? Do you have any thoughts on acid reflux and carnivore?
Yeah, so there's no real context here, so I can just hypothesize. So sometimes it can be some seasonings that you're using. Sometimes it can be that you're getting more fat than you used to. Sometimes it can be a histamine issue and your food maybe isn't as fresh as it was, always. So it's, I wish I could have a specific answer, but as with so many things like this that come up, it's a matter of really just kind of investigating and watching. I would maybe say track your eating for a little bit, so that you can see if you can make those connections as to like what have you specifically been eating. But keep in mind, how fresh is your food? Are you eating leftovers? Could you potentially have developed a bit of a histamine issue, which is for me when I have acid reflux, it's either I'm eating a lot of fat, more than my body's used to, or I'm eating too much that has like higher histamine. And so if it's a histamine thing, you may need to back off and go low histamine. But if you continue to have an issue with it after tracking, I'd say check back in with us, give us a little more information. You can even send an email if you need more help. You can email me if you want, lynn@healinghumanity.movie, and I'll try to help you work through it.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that, and Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think one of the culprits, I wonder how clean carnivore that one is, because I think one of the culprits can be nightshades and especially peppers and,
Oh, yeah.
tomato base. So if you're doing like a chili that's got tomatoes in there or some hot pepper, stuff like that, that may also, so you may consider cutting back on stuff like that if you're including that in your diet.
Absolutely. And coffee. And some people use like a chocolate electrolyte, chocolate itself. can cause issues. And those things, like Ashley was saying, like the nightshades, tomatoes, the coffee, the chocolate, they actually loosen up the sphincter between your esophagus and your stomach. And what your sphincter is supposed to do is open up and then close back up once your food is passed through. But certain foods will cause it to stay loose. And so possibly you could be having maybe a little more of those foods. So there's a whole bunch of things that can cause acid reflux.
Good stuff. All right. We got a question from Mr. Beaumont. If going carnivore overnight from a standard Western diet can give you gut problems, how many days is the point of no return? Adam, you got any thoughts on that one?
Well, I have a little trouble understanding what the point of no return is. I'm assuming that you mean that once you go carnivore and your gut is finally calmed down, that maybe you will potentially have issues if you introduce things back in. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm a little confused by what that means too. But how many days to the point of no return? Does that mean like how many days before you might as well just stick it out? I don't know.
Yeah, just maybe clarify that for us in the comments.
Yeah, give us some clarification, because I know often gut problems, just from everything that I've heard from a lot of people, is that the vast majority of people are over it within a few weeks. Some people longer, some people shorter. And so one of the problems with your gut is maybe if you're starting out with too much fat and you're not quite adapted yet. So if you're really having a lot of gut problems, especially if you're having loose stools, maybe back off a little bit on the fat just to give your body a chance to adapt. If you're like, I know I had an increase in acid reflux after I started carnivore, but then it subsided. And I think it was probably from all the fat. So maybe just, clarify for us if we got your, what that meant correctly.
All right, and Maria is asking, I love following the carnivore diet, though I'm a bit concerned about my genetic predisposition related to lipoproteins.
Well, there's more than one type of genetic predisposition that can affect lipoproteins. So I don't think there's like one size fits all answer as far as depending on what your specific issue is. But I would say if you're going to do carnivore, get an advanced lipid panel and find out the quality of your LDL. Find out if, how much of it is low dense, small dense particles versus the big fluffy particles. And then, maybe 6 months later, watch and see what happens. And, you're going to want to look at your triglycerides, your HDL. For the vast majority of people, those change for the better. And even if LDL goes up, usually people will find a shift from the low dense particles to the big fluffy particles that have no cardiovascular risk. But I would say hopefully your doctor will work with you and get the advanced lipid panel and find out specifically like what specific genetic variant you have. You might want to, if you haven't done the genetic testing, maybe do some genetic testing and find out specifically what the actual issue for sure is, because there are actually some issues, some variants that respond a little differently to the high fat.
Good stuff. All right. Don't die yet. Eat your cure. Anyone got a recipe for DIY carnivore bacon? Everything seems cured in sugar, but in nutritional value says 0 sugar. What do you think, Ashley? You done any bacon?
You're right about that. And it is hard to find anything with no sugar on it. I will say it's because it's cured in some sugar, it's very minor in the bacon. But I don't have one on my channel. I've actually never made it myself. But I remember one video that I watched and was actually quite intrigued by the process. That was from Brett, Who's Your Carnivore. His channel, he did a homemade bacon, carnivore bacon on his channel. And so you might want to look that one up. His channel name was Who's Your Carnivore, like Indiana Hoosiers. And His name is Brett. So you might check that one out.
All right. We got a follow-up from Nightfall Homestead, who had a question earlier. Tanya from Iowa from the Zoom call earlier. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tanya is
Howdy.
a member on our Healing Humanity site. We just every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central, we do our Inspire Together call, and it was a really awesome call. Lynn actually shared a really cool video from her early days on carnivore. It was very inspiring. So, yeah, if you're considering, if you need a little bit more help on your journey, healinghumanity.life, there's a promo code on the bottom of the screen, link in the description below. We've got courses, and we do like 12 Zoom calls a week, and we got doctors and experts. Yesterday was awesome too. We had Dr. Farhan on as our Wednesday night expert. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was great.
We've got an update from Grandma's Crochet Corner. I had a great freedom moment yesterday. I was finally able to sit in the driver's seat of my car and drive myself to the park yesterday for my walk. I love having these victory moments.
Woohoo!
Woo! Excellent, Grandma.
Good job. Grandma's Crochet Corner is a great YouTube channel too, by the way. I know I've shouted it out before. Jen and I have watched a couple of her videos. Really, really inspiring. All right, we've got a question from Garuda Legends. My question is based on me being from the Caribbean. Do you accept the fact we love red meat like goat and we love lamb in America? I do accept that. Adam, what about you? Do you accept it?
I accept that 100%, and that is my final answer.
Accepted, stamp.
Yes.
Accepted all the way around?
Approval.
You got 4 stamps of approval.
Dr. Barry's been putting out a couple of videos here lately about his hair sheep, and I didn't even realize there was different, that different in breeds there. But apparently, the hair sheep has a totally different taste, and he's highly recommending that as a alternative for if anybody wants to try something that tastes, he says, even better than beef. So I don't know if I've ever tried that, because I've always had the lamb or sheep that has that a little bit different flavor that I'm not a huge fan of, and so I'm wondering if that might make a difference for me too. So I'm anxious to try some of that.
Dr. Barry's hair sheep will be featured in the Healing Humanity documentary. Well, unless we edit them out, but we did get some pretty incredible shots of Dr. Barry.
They are in the trailer.
Yeah.
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 They are.
Garuda Legends has a little update. Goats can't eat the same food as cows and chickens in the Caribbean. We also get fresh saltwater fish from the ocean. There you go. Natural, right? It's all good stuff.
Delicious.
Nothing better than fresh fish. Sounds delicious right now. We don't get a lot of fresh fish here in Texas, so.
Oh, we get lots here in Washington.
Yeah, you do.
Mr. Beaumont has an update from the earlier question, some clarification. You're supposed to ramp down carb intake. How many days will show up symptoms roughly?
Okay, so if you're slowly reducing carbs to go into carnivore, a lot of people don't experience symptoms, but you can still experience a keto flu. So I know you mentioned before gut issues, but you can experience potentially a keto flu. So it's really important to stay well hydrated and make sure you're getting enough sodium. But again, it's also, unfortunately, there's no solid answer on how long it's going to take, because each one is very individual. We just know that generally about 3 weeks is the time when people start to get over those transitioning symptoms. And a lot of times it's also very low energy, because your body is, you're getting away from using glucose for energy and starting to use ketones for energy. In that transition phase, you could be low energy. Mm-hmm. So it's also definitely recommended not to be doing any intense exercise during that time. Be gracious with yourself and get plenty of rest, hydrate, lots of sodium. And
and hopefully, if you heard what Lynn said right at the beginning, there's, I think, one of the keys too is if you are slowly, gradually, usually the people who are impacted by keto flu the hardest are the ones that just cold turkey switch over, right? They go from one extreme to the other. That's hard on the body, and so you get more of that experience. So if you are slowly phasing out carbs, you probably will not have near as bad of keto flu type symptoms.
Yeah.
All right. We've got an update. Kyrix. I used to be 360 pounds, and now I am 180.
Wow.
That's awesome.
My
Amazing.
A1C was close to type 2 diabetic, and now it's 4.7. I got
Wow.
out of a scooter. I was disabled 17 surgeries as a result of abuse when I was a child. Wow.
Good
Amazing.
for you.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
That
Great.
child abuse thing hits close to my heart because all my kids are adopted and went through abuse in not only in their birth homes but in foster care. And so that just breaks my heart to hear stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's amazing. Childhood trauma makes it, the chance that you're going to have chronic illness as an adult, if you've gone through childhood trauma, is so much more than if you have not gone through childhood trauma. And so it's just congratulations on seeing all those improvements.
Incredible. Good job. Good job. All right. If you have a healing story like that, please share it. Hashtag ribeye or post your best question. We're going to be doing a drawing in just a couple minutes for a Healing Humanity shirt. We've got a question from Don't Die Yet, Eat Your Cure. Is there any evidence this is effective in the lymphedema problems?
Who is the person who's a specialist in this, Adam? Do you remember?
I thought Adam had someone on his channel.
Yeah.
That was Dr. Leslyn Keith. She's an occupational therapist that specializes in lipedema and lymphedema. And this is carnivore. The carnivore way of eating is the number one prescribed way of eating for those two conditions. Now, that's not to say that it's a cure-all or that's going to reverse or fix 100% of either one of those issues, but it's going to give your body the fuel it needs in order to potentially get to that 100%.
All right. We got a super chat from Garuda Legends, $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Every penny we get from the super chats goes towards our Healing Humanity project. I don't have a carb addiction. I can explain. All right.
Awesome.
All right.
We believe you.
You're leaving us hanging.
Now explain yourself.
Now I want to know.
Right.
Got a question from Organized Gamer. What electrolytes do you guys like? I don't use electrolytes too often, but when I do, I like the Keto Pro electrolytes. I think they're from Richard Smith in the UK. I've used those before. I think there's some new ones coming out too. I don't know, Adam. What do you think?
I don't really use electrolytes. I've used various ones. I don't really have a favorite because, like I said, I don't really use them that much. But a good friend of ours is starting his own electrolyte business, Salter, and those will be available at Hack Your Health. They're actually launching at Hack Your Health. So definitely check that out on their website when they get that launched. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the website is right now. He's still working on it. So
Yeah. If you want inexpensive, one of the cheapest and cleanest ways to go, Sole water is a really good source of electrolytes. And if you just look up Sole water, I think it's SOLE apostrophe, look it up on YouTube. You'll find how to make it. You just need to have your own, coarse salt and water and in a jar. And you can make Sole water. And that is a really great source of electrolytes and lots of minerals.
Hey, it's our friend and brother, Rhett Rogers. Hello, hello.
Someone's brother.
Hello, Brett.
We've got two of the we got the whole
carnivore brother.
My other brother.
Two of the carnivore brothers. All right, we got Lynn J. Question. Hey, 75 years young, Tuesday. On carnivore 64 days, my mental health clarity is great. Question, hip replacement scheduled for spring. Are there carnivores that have been able to cancel surgery?
Yes.
Yes. So one reason why Dr. Baker ended up in trouble with his license.
Yeah. He kept having a lot of patients that were coming back to him canceling surgeries because the pain went away. So he would reevaluate and say, yeah, you're right. I don't think you need it. So I'd say stick to it and keep working with your with your doctor, but definitely a possibility.
There's a
Yeah.
YouTube channel that you should check out, Lynn. It's called Shape Fixer. And he actually has scans where the cartilage actually increased in his hip joint. So through eating a carnivore diet. So I've actually tried to get him on my channel to share a story, but we haven't been able to connect it so far yet. But his YouTube channel is Shape Fixer, and he talks a lot about this very issue that you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's not a guarantee. I mean, at age 75, it depends on how much damage that you've had. But I've heard plenty of stories from people who had issues with even like bone on bone problems. And even though the bone on bone issue doesn't heal, their pain improves. And because the inflammation goes down. And so, it may be that you may still have the same structural issue, but with less inflammation over time. You may be able to tolerate what's going on. But I would say too, at age 75, really carefully evaluate whether to have the surgery or not, because there was probably, and I'm sure your surgeons probably talked to you about this, there's a window where they really hesitate to do a hip replacement surgery when you get like 80 and above. So I would just say, like, as a nurse, to be open to maybe it might be the best thing for you, but we don't know for sure yet. Sounds like you do have some time, but if it's something that you feel that if you really do need, it's better to have it earlier than to wait until you're 80 or more, because the risks definitely go up.
I was just going to add, Lynn, there's also, it's amazing how many orthopedic doctor carnivores there are in the space, but there's also Dr. Rick Goding, Goding, who's got a YouTube channel. And he's had a lot of success personally with it and also with patients. And someone just left a comment too. Claire, thank you. I think Dr. Gary Fetke, orthopedic surgeon, also had many joint replacement cancellations after changing his patient's diet. So,
yeah. And hopefully that will be the outcome. I just want to provide that caveat,
All right. And we've got a question. This might be a good one for Lynn. Felina, what do you know about doing carnivore and having gastroparesis? Would have been a good one for Dr. Nelson, because I think he's personally been through that.
Yeah. Well, and he's been through it. And of course I've helped with many, many gastroparesis patients. So I absolutely understand the concern, because of the fact that when you have gastroparesis, your stomach doesn't empty very well. First of all, meat is highly digestible in the stomach. Our stomach acid is designed to digest meat. But the healing that comes with the diet can help. And the gastroparesis is a problem with your nerves. The nerves aren't working properly. And so to provide that support to help your nerves heal, you're probably going to have to, as you transition into carnivore, get fat adapted, but then plan on increasing your fat to the point, because if you're wanting to heal nerves, you're going to need to have a higher ratio of fat, and it may take a while. And I would say go slow. And I have talked to people who have had gastroparesis and they've been able to handle a carnivore diet, and they've actually found healing from their gastroparesis. So I definitely would encourage you to give it a try and check it back in with us and let us know how it's going.
Good stuff. All right. We're going to give away a Healing Humanity shirt. Here we go.
Okay.
The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue is Javier. Yay. Congratulations, Javier. Adam, how can Javier claim their prize?
Well, Kerry, Javier can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Ashley will promptly send you your t-shirt. Congratulations.
All right. Congratulations. We're going to do one more giveaway. And the giveaway is for a free month on healinghumanity.life. So get in the chat, post your best question with #life or your testimony of healing. And if you don't win and you still want to join us, you can get 50% off your first month with code LIFE 1125. We do about 12 Zoom calls a week. We've got courses. We've got community. We'd love to have you join us. All right. The next question we have. What's up? I have OCD and really bad anxiety, and on my 6th day of carnivore, how long should it take for it to get better or nearly eliminated? Adam, you got any thoughts on that one?
Well, it varies for a lot of different people. Some people it's a little, it's a shorter time frame. It happens pretty rapidly. Other people it takes a while. Some people I've heard it take as long as a year. Currently, I'm reading a book called Caffeine Blues, and it specifically talks about not so much OCD, but anxiety in particular. That if you are consuming caffeine, I would definitely look to try to cut that out of your diet and see if that potentially helps right away. I mean, that's pretty quick results that you'll see by quitting coffee and seeing benefits with the anxiety being removed. So not sure if that's the case with you or not, but what's your thoughts, Lynn?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, when it comes to mental health, again, just like with the neurological issue with a person with gastroparesis, higher fat is often needed. And in fact, one of the doctors we had just recently on Healing Humanity Life was talking about some people needing even 90% of their diet coming from fat. I know that was actually Coach Brett, right? Mentioned that. So it's a matter of working with your ratios. And, if on your 6th day of carnivore, I would say don't start doing 90% fat. Let yourself get fat adapted and let yourself get into producing the ketones. The ketones are really great for the brain. And if you haven't read Dr. Georgia Ead's book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, I would highly recommend reading her book. Because she even goes into some of the physiology behind why the brain works better with ketones. And there's some people who actually have dysfunctional glucose pathways in their brain. And so their brain doesn't process glucose properly, and that results in some mental illness. And so getting it on the ketones can absolutely help with that. And just be patient, be gracious with yourself. Sometimes there are relapses. Sometimes things can, as your brain is healing, you may have things that come up. So just hang in there, get plugged into community. Definitely highly recommend that, if you need community, we'd love to have you on Healing Humanity Life, help to support you there and get you through it.
Good stuff. All right. Jerry Lee Colbert asks, do you all just eat beef only? I seem to do better eating just beef and nothing else. I did reintroduce eggs, but no gallbladder, runs right through me.
So I ate just beef for about a year in order to get the healing that I needed. Now, I don't have a gallbladder either. I'm curious about the eggs running through you, but not the beef. And I don't know, the only way to me that would make sense is if you're eating lean beef, because the fat content in the really good cuts of beef that we look at are like fatty beef and eggs. I'm curious as to, it might be more of a histamine issue with the eggs than like a fat issue.
Yeah. Well, it also depends too. I'll jump in here real quick. If they're having a lot of tallow or rendered butter and tallow with the eggs, that might be the cause of it too. So
yeah, I would troubleshoot. And not that you have to have eggs, but I definitely found for myself that adding at least the egg yolks in was good, because egg yolks are basically like a multivitamin. And if you have beef and you can have egg yolks, you pretty much covered most of what you need as far as diet. Sometimes people need to add a little organs, but I would definitely troubleshoot the whole thing with the egg whites, because the egg whites can cause problems with people. So if you want to try to reintroduce eggs, maybe try to start with just the yolks and see if that makes a difference. And if it does, it might be more of a histamine issue than a fat issue.
Yeah. Good answer, Lynn. And I would just to answer the question, pretty much 90%, probably higher of my diet is beef. I do eat eggs too, but it's a lot of beef. And that's just that's a preference, but there are some that just, like Lynn said, for the healing, if you can just go to a straight beef, lion diet style, Dante Ferrigno is one of those that also had to do that for a long time to experience the healing he needed.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question about bacon. What is your opinion on having lots of bacon on carnivore? Is it safe long term? Are nitrates even a worry?
Kerry?
I eat an incredible amount of bacon. I'm not worried about it. I don't think nitrates are something we should worry about. I'm not a doctor or an expert, though. Dr. Berry
he has a chapter in his book
yeah.
about nitrates where he explains why he's not worried about them.
Yeah, I think he's done a couple of videos. Check out Dr. Berry.
Yeah.
He's done a couple of videos on bacon and nitrates. In fact, I think he just did recently a new one talking about nitrates again.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about them. The only thing I'd be worried about with bacon is what we touched on earlier. There's some bacon you can get that's got a lot of sugar in it, so you got to be careful with that. Sometimes it's hard to avoid, but you don't want to get one like it's got maple syrup all over it or anything like that. Otherwise, you should be fine.
Like the bacon we had at Fogo de Chao, right, Adam?
Right. The candied bacon. Yeah.
That was the only thing with bacon, though, is that if you have histamine issues or can be sensitive to histamine, yes, you can have too much bacon because bacon is higher in histamine. And, I know I always talk about histamine but there are a large majority of the population that can develop histamine issues or already have histamine issues. So it's important to know that bacon is one of those foods. And you'll know if you have histamine issues when you're eating a lot of stuff like bacon and you start having a variety of different symptoms. It could be anything from joint pain. It could affect your sleep. It could be a little gut issue. It could be skin. There's a bunch of things that could happen. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, it's our friend Nightfall Homestead. Tanya, do you feel like vitamins, PR supplements are necessary when doing carnivore? Adam's got this one.
Potentially. Really, I mean, honestly, you should probably get blood tests done to see if you're deficient in any of these areas before you start applying any sort of supplements. A lot of people think that they may need to, and I know you're relatively new to the carnivore diet, and this is a concern that almost every person has, and it has to do with prior thinking of way of eating that we're taught. So really honestly, I would get blood tested to know for sure if you are deficient. What's your thoughts, Lynn?
Yeah, and I think that most people can benefit from vitamin D. We generally don't get enough vitamin D in our lives unless you're outside in the sunshine a lot. A lot of people are indoors and just aren't getting enough, but absolutely get a blood test, get the vitamin D checked and see where you're at. And the normal range that the lab will tell you really is not an optimal range. Most of the times doctors that are really looking at like functional medicine doctors want it to be above 50, above 60. You want it to be higher. And so also when it comes to vitamins, some people, it depends on you individually. So like I have an MTHFR variant as far as a genetic variant. So I don't process methylate B vitamins properly. And about half the population has that variant. And so I take a homocysteine supplement, which supports that pathway. So you'll find probably that as you go, getting some testing done and getting your B vitamins, getting your vitamin D tested, and then find out what's unique about you. You may need to have some vitamin support, whereas other people may be perfectly fine without it.
All right. And Javier asks, can using beef bone marrow as the main source of fat daily be a problem long term? Not sure if bone marrow is considered organ.
No, it's not. Yeah. I don't never heard of any problems with bone marrow.
No.
I haven't either.
No, there shouldn't be any problem using that as a fat source long term. And yeah, you're right. It's definitely not considered an organ.
Crazy Mom wants to know, how do I gain weight? I'm down to 105 pounds, but I feel great.
Gaining weight. So I'd want to know how, like, are you carnivore? How long have you been carnivore? How's your muscle mass? I know we've talked recently, at least within our community, we've talked recently about insulin, and very rarely, but it's very rare that insulin can get too low. It's not common, but you might want to check and make sure that your insulin's not too low. And if it's too low, if you're not doing dairy, you might need to add dairy. We were just having this conversation on Healing Humanity Life on our Q&A on Tuesday about people who keep losing weight. And so I would definitely say get a fasting insulin done and make sure that your insulin is not too low. And I believe in our conversation, what we were told was somewhere between 2 and 5 is optimal. And that's based on kind of what Dr. Barry says. If it's below 2, you might need to add some dairy to kind of, it's an animal-based carb. It'll kind of kick your insulin level in. But other than that, you have to look at how much are you eating, and are you eating enough? I don't know. Any thoughts from any of you guys?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ashley. Good.
You go.
Okay. So one thought that I had, first of all, let me preface this with, there's a reason why we have the membership site, and it's for this very reason. So this is a question that a lot of people have, and it's really hard to dig in and answer without getting, a back and forth communication.
Right.
Like, we really need to be able to dig in and spend the time to really get to know you and understand exactly where you are. First of all, what's your age, right? What's your height? What is your body type? These are all very important questions, everything that Lynn laid out. So it's very hard to, in a YouTube stream, to just give a definitive answer. So we would definitely encourage people, if you do, you're trying to figure something out and dig deeper, that's what we're there for in that community, is to try to help you guys figure that out. That being said, you feel great, and I'm really happy for you. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ashley.
The only thing I was going to add was just the most common thing. Again, it's how we've been raised. And when you think diet, you think smaller portions, don't eat as much. And, there's just a lot of people, honestly, that undereat when it comes to that. And so, again, without knowing all the details in the background and where you're at, but that is something that I would say sometimes people just don't even realize, that they can eat a lot more and start feeling a lot better, because you're just right now, you just may not be eating enough.
Yeah, and maybe more fat. But, again, like Adam said, we don't know your height. We don't know your body type. We don't know your age. And so, but if you feel concerned, like you're underweight, but yet you feel good. I mean, so when you're feeling good, I would be surprised if you had low insulin, because usually if your insulin's low, you don't really feel good. So the fact that you feel good is really optimistic. So love to learn more about, some of those specifics, so that we can, like Adam said, hone in a little bit more on what's going on.
Dexify, does it, I'm assuming carnivore, help with people with multiple sclerosis? Yes. I'll give you 3 answers. Yes, and yes. No, number 1, check out Diane Ladd, Boston Carnivore, on YouTube. She's got an incredible story with MS. Check out Dave Mack, because I think he's had 5 or 6 or probably many more at this time people with MS that he's interviewed on his channel. And the third thing, I don't remember. No, the third thing is Emily Pettin. Yeah. And then the fourth thing is, if I had a loved one with MS, the first thing I would be telling them to do would be do a carnivore diet. I don't know if that helps or not, but I don't know what else I would suggest besides doing that. I've seen quite a few people with success. So
Yeah, I love Diane Ladd. That's one I'd definitely go check out.
Boston Carnivore, Diane Ladd. She's got a great story.
There's a couple more. Ivy Wolf, she has a channel with MS that has improved on a carnivore diet, and Cabana Chronicles is another one that her MS symptoms are completely in remission.
Amazing. Organized Gamer. Can histamine cause migraines?
Yeah. It's not the only thing that causes migraines, but yes, it absolutely can. So the only way to know for sure if your migraines are histamine related is to go low histamine, get it out of your, go on a low histamine carnivore diet and see if your migraines clear up.
All right. And Maria is asking about heart health. I know carnivore diet is the best for heart health and for its healing from disease, but how about for a congenital heart defect? I was just diagnosed with a PFO in my heart. Is it still safe?
Yes. In fact, check out Amy Hosp. So she just had hers surgically repaired. But she was on a carnivore diet for quite a while, and it actually got her in much better condition to actually be able to have the surgery. So I would say check out her and try to connect with her because she has firsthand experience with that. But I've watched her as she's a personal friend. I've watched her and I've seen how well she does on carnivore, and it's been amazing. And now she's been able to get this repaired and she's doing amazing.
Yeah.
Kerry, you have experience with this, don't you?
Not a PFO, but a congenital heart defect. Yes.
I do have a PFO of one of my many things.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
What do I know?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it though, because I've been thinking about this recently. So just long story short, like my heart's completely healed. Well, my heart has incredibly healed on carnivore. My ejection fraction reversed. I no longer have evidence of cardiomyopathy, but I was diagnosed many years ago with a PFO. And I don't know, like I went back in and had a heart echo done. And I don't know, maybe Lynn, you know this. I think that's how they would detect a PFO.
You have to do a bubble test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Because I was gonna say I did the echo, and that was when they told me my new ejection fraction, which improved, and no longer have evidence of cardiomyopathy. But they never mentioned anything about the PFO. I honestly kind of forgot about it, except I have it on a slide on one of my presentations. But I guess the only other thing I'll say on that, Maria, is seems like carnivore, when you fix your metabolic health, you get rid of inflammation, you strengthen your immune system, you fix your sleep. It seems to help with so many things. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it could help with all of those things and then hurt with a PFO.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. I mean, it is a structural issue. And so it's not going to, unless it's tiny, itty bitty, who knows, maybe it'll heal it up. But it's, like I said, but it could get you in a lot better situation for a surgery to help repair it.
All right. And TRD is asking, other than hot butter, any other tips for constipation?
Well, first of all, I would make sure that it actually is constipation. A lot of people on the carnivore diet believe that they're constipated, but they're going far less than what they were, especially in the early stages, like maybe first 6 months, because their bodies have been so nutrient lacked the absorption of nutrients that when you finally start feeding it nutrients, your body is absorbing a lot of that. What you feel might be constipation is actually your body just absorbing most of everything. So I would first make sure that you're having pain, you're having classic symptoms of constipation before you actually think you are to start eating something else to make yourself go to the bathroom. And Lynn is kind of the resident expert on this. So
yeah, and I totally agree. I absolutely agree. So you need to make sure that you're defining constipation from a carnivore perspective. So if you are having distension, if you're having abdominal pain, if when you do go, if you have to strain or your stool is hard, then that is definitely constipation. So if you're experiencing those things, then you could try adding magnesium as a supplement. You can try making sure you're getting plenty of exercise, making sure you're getting plenty of hydration. You can try breathing. It's amazing, how much breathing can help, just breathing exercises, because there's more than one thing that affects the peristalsis in your colon. And the big portion of it is your nervous system. And so you want to support your nervous system with stress management. And so, there's quite a few things you can do, but I completely agree with Adam. Make sure that it truly is constipation. I think the longest I went without a bowel movement, this was earlier on, now I go pretty frequently, was like 14 days. And even as a GI nurse, I was like, okay. But
That's literally,
you win.
That was an anomaly. Yeah. But I had no pain. And when I finally did go, it was not a problem. It just was like a normal bowel movement. I didn't have to strain. It was great consistency, so it's like I think my body was still kind of adapting to the diet at that point. But I didn't really classify that as constipation because I didn't have any discomfort, no issues.
All right, we've got a question from Heather. My son has severe autism and severe microbiome GI disturbances. Are there any in the community successfully using the carnivore diet with autism?
Yeah, check out Rebecca Bavery. She has twins with autism, and they're teenagers. And so she has them, with teenagers, you get as close as you can to carnivore. They're probably more keto, but ketogenic diets have already been studied and, for anything related to the brain. And so she's having, her kids are doing real well.
Yeah.
Another channel, Christy from Meeting Wellness also has a son that she had a lot of really good videos about the success there. She's also going to be one of those at our San Diego, California meetup. So if you're close by the area, make sure you come. But that's another channel to check out. Her name is Christy. Her channel is Meeting Wellness. Meet MEAT. Meeting Wellness.
Yep. There's another one. Sorry, Kerry. Before I forget, there's another one. Louise Benning in the UK. Her channel name is The Strong Carnivoress, and her son has greatly improved symptoms of autism eating more carnivore based. Sorry, Kerry.
No, I love it. I was going to say there's a documentary as well. It's several years old, but it was on the ketogenic diet called The Magic Pill. And there was a child in there that I think was nonverbal and had some incredible healing by doing a strict keto diet. So that may be worth looking at as well. All right. Let's see. We've got a couple more questions here. We got clarification from Garuda Legends. In the Caribbean, we eat natural foods like Africa, South America, and Asia Minor. Duck food that is refined, supplemented, and junk food. I think not duck food that is refined, supplemented, and junk food. Love it. Awesome.
Excellent.
Return to natural. Debbie is asking, do any of you use certain bones for making bone broth? I did the fast way of making bone broth and it doesn't have any taste and is light colored. Is the slow cooker the best way? Anyone do bone broth here?
I can't do bone broth because of the histamine.
One recommendation I would, and again, I don't know how you made your bone broth, but the more you cook down the bones, the better. If you have, so for example, we're doing a bunch of turkeys for a office event tomorrow. I'm going to be saving all that and any of the little extra bits of meat in there, keep it all in there, and has an amazing flavor. And then of course, salt is also a very good key in a bone broth, and adding enough salt. Cause I've had some bone broths that are just hardly any flavor. Just salting it up alone makes a world of difference. So you might also check how much salt you're using in your bone broth.
Yeah, I haven't made any. I intended to. I think Adam, when we filmed Mimi, she regularly makes bone broth, and I'm pretty sure she uses a slow cooker for that. Regularly.
You can use a slow cooker, or you can use a pressure cooker. Some people that are sort of in the middle range with histamines and having issues, but they can take some histamine. They can cook the bone broth in a pressure cooker, and you can get it in about as little as an hour. So you're not cooking for like 10, 12 hours, extended hours, increasing that histamine content. So it's a couple different ways that you can definitely make it. And it doesn't have to be beef bones. It can be chicken bones or any kind of bones, really.
Turkey.
Yep.
Raya is asking, good question for Lynn. Is there a test you can get that will show if you have histamine issues?
They used to rely on a tryptase test, but it's been found that there's a lot of people who have histamine issues that will not have elevated tryptase. And so at least as of when I got diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, the diagnostic criterion did include a tryptase. There's also a 24-hour urine test where you can look for different metabolites in your urine. Your doctor will know like what to do. They'll probably want you, if you're having like a reaction, they want you to go get these tests done. Like they'll order them and they want you to go get them done like right when you're having a reaction, which is hard if you have severe reactions like I had. But the 24-hour urine test, a tryptase test, it would be elevated in the middle of a reaction if it's histamine. But another diagnostic criteria is, do your symptoms get better when you take antihistamines? So the way I usually recommend that people, if they want to know if it's a histamine issue, is, does it get better if you take an H1 and an H2 blocker? So something like an H2 blocker would be like famotidine, which is Pepcid. H1 blocker could be something like Zyrtec or Claritin, or one of those. Take something non-drowsy, or if you're at home, to Benadryl. If it improves with that, then it's probably a histamine issue. But also go on a low histamine diet and see if your symptoms improve. And so that way you can figure it out for yourself. And if it's not mast cell activation syndrome, it's just a bit of a histamine intolerance, usually that will reverse. And people tend to find all you got to do is avoid histamines, lower your histamine, drain your histamine bucket, and then you can usually tolerate foods again.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to do a giveaway.
Before we do, real quick, Kerry, the carnivore mom, she commented on her height and age, 4'10" and 58. So, I mean, at 105 pounds, to me, that seems like the sweet spot. I've known people that height that were 90 pounds and still healthy. So, but if you're symptomatic or anything like that, make sure definitely you go to your physician.
Yeah, she feels great.
Yeah.
So, and I actually saw the comment ahead of time, so I just looked it up, and it is actually 105 is great. And it may just be that because you were always chunky, it's a matter of, not being used to seeing yourself
Right.
a normal weight. I totally get that.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, here we go. HealingHumanity.life 30-day membership going to PR64. Congratulations. Adam, how can PR64 claim their prize?
Well, Kerry, PR64 can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will send you a code to log in for your first month free on healinghumanity.life. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Nice. Love it.
Can we quickly take Mandy Moon's
let's
question?
do it. Hey, I'm 2.5 weeks into carnivore. I'm so nauseous today. My stomach hurts. Must be keto flu? ?
The stomach hurting could be you're not quite adapted to the fat, so maybe lower the fat. And the nauseous could also be that, but make sure if it is keto flu, you may not be getting enough sodium. So make sure you're well hydrated, and because you're not getting sodium anymore from all of the other foods you were eating. And so you got to make sure you're adding it. I would maybe try to make some Soleil water and maybe add some of that, but get in at least try to add some sodium, if not an electrolyte packet, something clean. And it may be the keto flu. And if that's the case, it will pass. Hang in there.
Good stuff. All right. Well, before we wrap up, I can't believe we're at the end of the hour already. Any announcements, Adam? You got anything coming up at Carnivore today?
I got a video sort of in the works for 1,000 Days Carnivore. So yes, I've been eating like this, like a crazy person for 1,000 days, and I'm not dead yet, and I feel great. So got a video coming up of that potentially. We'll see. What else? Blood work. I also had blood work done. So a little bit of a mystery to everybody. Am I, going to have to be put on a statin or something like that? It's suspenseful. I don't know.
Did you die?
So,
did you have a heart attack?
a couple times I did. Yes. But other than that, I'm just really excited about going to Hack Your Health and seeing everybody next week. Mainly, all the carnivore doctors and stuff like that, great people, high quality people. I love seeing them and hanging out with them. But really, honestly, I love hanging out with everybody that we see here in the chat.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun to hang out and connect and catch up again.
Love it.
Lynn, what about you?
Yeah. Well, we're headed to Florida early, which right now, as I've got rain beating down for days on end, I'm really looking forward to that. So, but yeah, looking forward to Hack Your Health. Absolutely. Anybody that's, in the chat that's going to be there, absolutely come find us and make sure you tell us your YouTube name.
Good stuff. And Ashley?
I obviously I'm looking forward to Hack Your Health to repeat of that, but I don't know how we did collaborate on that, Adam, but I also have a 1,000 Days on Carnivore that we're working on a little video on that as well. But tomorrow I am deep frying turkeys in bacon grease, and I'm smoking turkeys for my office. So we'll have a couple of varieties of turkey videos coming out just before Thanksgiving. Hopefully we'll get them out on the channel within the next week or two.
It's awesome.
Excellent.
I want to hang out with Ashley the next couple of days. That sounds incredible.
I'm doing 6 turkeys tomorrow for our office, so I'm excited.
Wow. Amazing.
Ooh.
Well, I'm excited for Hack Your Health too. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone out there. It's going to be great. Make sure you stop by. We've got a Healing Humanity booth, and Adam and I are speaking on Sunday. Right?
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll see you guys on the next one.
We probably won't be doing this next week then, since we'll be in transit or traveling to Hack Your Health. So
yeah, good point.
Next week.
Won't see you next week, but we'll see you the following. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Beep.